This bikepacking trip across Washington started in the border town of Umatilla, Oregon. The I-82 bridge over the Columbia River has a view of McNary Dam, a huge hydroelectric project that helps manage irrigation water for thousands of acres of farmland, as well as providing recreational opportunities. We'll cross over the Columbia River 3 times during this ride. This is the first town we'll cross in Washington, called Plymouth. Then we head due north up a long hill on Plymouth Road. There are thousands of acres of farmland on this journey. This is the Horse Heaven Hills area. Lots of wheat. Huge potato storage warehouses also dot the land. Riding through the Horse Heaven Hills. Just beautiful country. The Horse Heaven Hills are dotted with farmhouses that have been here for decades. Riding in this area, it's kind of like my home base. There have been several long rides in this area, including Sellers Road, Travis Road, Weber Canyon, and more. Cutting through the farmlands of the Horse Heaven Hills is Highway 221. We're going to turn right and head north towards Prosser. I was hoping to take a restroom break at the top of the grade before we head down into the Yakima Valley. Well, vandalism, sad story. No restrooms. Graffiti all over this building. At the edge of the Horse Heaven area, we prepare to head down a grade into the rich, fertile Yakima Valley. The 6% grade is a welcome downhill stretch. At the bottom of the grade is the Lower Valley town of Prosser, home of the Mustangs. You can find Mustangs scattered all around town in all types of colors and designs. In case you're wondering why I often ride through stop signs, Washington State's bicycle safety stop law allows bicyclists to treat stop signs as yield signs. We're now in the heart of the Lower Yakima Valley. This area is thick with agricultural land. It's mainly irrigated by water distributed from the Yakima River with dams and canals crisscrossing the valley. The irrigation has brought life to this desert landscape. Growing on these trellises are hops for flavoring beer. As I rode through town, I heard this loud rhythmic sound coming up beside me. Turns out the driver of this car was limping to the local Les Schwab tire store. He was able to make it safely there. Here we are in Sunnyside. This is my old high school alma mater, the Sunnyside Grizzlies. This is where I grew up. The local fire station, post office. This building used to be Howard's drugstore, where I stocked shelves as a kid. This is the main intersection in downtown Sunnyside. Things have changed a lot since I grew up here, but it is still quite familiar. From Sunnyside, we're heading north out of the Yakima Valley with a climb up Highway 241. More crops on the way. At this intersection we have mint, apples, and corn. There are also plenty of grapes growing in the Yakima Valley. Okay, here we are after a good climb back up the other side out of the Yakima Valley. You can kind of see Sunnyside down below there. Kind of hazy today, but we made it up this highway. We'll dip back down to the Silver Dollar Cafe, and then we'll climb back up again. So far we're at about 4,000 feet of climbing today. Today is a day with lots of climbing. The Silver Dollar Cafe is at the intersection of Highways 24 and 241. Just across the road is a well-known site for the Washington Nitro Nationals Hill Climb event held in May. All right, climbing up out of the valley here. There's the Silver Dollar Cafe in my background there. Climbing up Highway 24, and it's a good climb. Pretty steep. Temperatures are warming up a little bit. It's a beautiful sunny day. We're heading down Highway 24, and in the distance there is the Hanford Nuclear Reservation, 500 plus square miles of nuclear production, contamination, cleanup, and history. This is the entrance for Hanford workers, heavily guarded with security. The Hanford Nuclear Reservation has many mothballed and cocooned nuclear reactors. They were part of the Cold War, generating materials for nuclear bombs and power. The B Reactor is now a National Historical Park with free tours. This is a picture of the front face of the reactor, where hundreds of tubes were loaded with nuclear fuel to help make the plutonium for Trinity, the first nuclear explosion, and for the Fat Man atomic bomb dropped on Nagasaki to help end World War II. From Hanford, we continue north for our second Columbia River crossing, this time on the Vernita Bridge, which replaced a ferry system. The Vernita Bridge was built in 1956. It was a toll bridge until 1977. Now you can just drive across, but you have to dodge a few rough spots in the pavement. On the other side of the Columbia River, we head west again on Highway 243 with the majestic Umptanum Ridge rising up from the Columbia River's edge. Here we are at Jackson Creek Fish Camp. I don't see another camper in sight. Nicely clean, laid out camping area. No fires right now. Just a beautiful area here among the sagebrush. Got a nice shade here, and then just the beautiful hills lurking above. Just gorgeous. Okay, here we are, packed up. Everything's on there. Just wanted to show you the tent and sleeping bag strapped on the top of the rack, so it gives you a good idea of how everything is put together. Day 2, and we head out from Jackson Creek Fish Camp north. More agriculture is in store for today. This area is rich with orchards. We entered the farming community of Mattawa, surrounded by orchards and irrigated farmland. I made a quick pit stop for some electrolyte drink. Our path headed north through Sentinel Gap. That's a narrow breach in the Saddle Mountains created thousands of years ago by massive floodwaters. Highway 243 through Sentinel Gap is a narrow two-lane with a narrow shoulder. Drivers who did pass me gave me plenty of space. Well, we made it through that gap. You can see the river over my shoulder there. It's only about a mile, but narrow and windy. The Beverly Bridge crosses the Columbia River. It's part of the John Wayne Trail, or Palouse to Cascades Trail. A great route for bikepacking adventures, maybe sometime in my future. There's a small town near Sentinel Gap called Shawana. A pit bull there decided to chase me. Fortunately, I outran him with adrenaline and fast pedaling. From Highway 243, I climbed up the Beverly-Burke Road to ride through more farmland. It was not unusual to see large farm machinery driving along the road. Heading north along this rolling road, the route descended to the town of George, Washington. This was a good pit stop for a lunch break at a convenience store. From George, it was off to the town of Ephrata. Part of the route parallels Interstate 90. Again, we're traveling through farmland with huge stacks of hay covered by tarps. Signs along the way show we're on the right road to Ephrata. With a mid-afternoon arrival, I stopped at Walmart for some supplies. Then I had to retrace my path back out of town to the Ephrata Campground and RV Park. Okay, here we are at the Ephrata RV Park and Campground. End of day 2. Not too strenuous, not too bad. The campground also features a nice swimming pool, which I was more than happy to enjoy. Now I'm ready for dinner and bed. Day 3 begins with a trip back into Ephrata and some breakfast at the Golden Arches. After a drive through town past the Grant County Courthouse, then it's time to climb up Sagebrush Flats Road. Climbing up Sagebrush Flats Road, and I'm thinking this is going to be the most desolate half day of my trip. The second half should be more civilized, see more people, but we're going into kind of a sagebrush desert plateau kind of an area. I'll hopefully stop at Mansfield along the way. Traveling down this road, there's a collection of trailers dotted across the land. There's even an old boat, which looks to be someone's house. In this area, we travel through the Moses Coulee. Spectacular basalt shear walls and features, which are part of the geologic area known as the channeled scablands of eastern Washington. It is theorized by geologists that massive floods shaped this area tens of thousands of years ago. Even here in the Moses Coulee, there is plenty of agricultural land. Down the road is where Highway 2 crosses the Coulee, and it's time for another climb up what's known as Armor Draw. Up on the plateau, we come to an intersection with the town hall. This is known as the town of Farmer. Now all that's left is the building, grain silos, and the farmer cemetery. This is Highway 172 with sparse, wide open spaces. About 6 miles down the road is the near ghost town of Withrow. It's nestled among wheat fields. There are some people who still live here. The old community church still stands, but it appears to be fairly quiet. Heading further north, my next stop is the town of Mansfield. The road curves around a landmass called Lone Butte, sticking up in the middle of everything. Mansfield is a fairly remote small town in the middle of farmland. Main Street features odd shops, a small grocery store, cafe, and hardware store. There were several older folks wandering around the town, likely long-time residents who have farmed here for years. Truly, small town Americana. There's an airstrip and several large grain silos on the edge of town. Also a small community park with lots of shade to relax in. For me, it was a chance to get a snack and hang out in the shade for a short time. From Mansfield, it was downhill to the Columbia River. Well, this is an interesting location. We're actually going to ride about 2 miles on the same road that we were on last year for our cross-state ride. You can find that in my videos if you want to watch it. It was a fun adventure. But you can see Bridgeport is 2 miles that way and Grand Coulee is that way. When we came on this ride, we were riding up this highway to Grand Coulee. So just an interesting factoid. This is the third time we will cross the Columbia River on this journey. This time it's at the town of Bridgeport. Only 31 miles to our destination town of Okanogan and a stop for the night. In the meantime, enjoy some beautiful views of more orchards and the Columbia River. We're close to the town of Brewster and a right turn on Highway 97, which will take us all the way to the Canadian border. A short ways up Highway 97 near Brewster is a satellite dish farm called a Very Long Base Array. One of 10 of these across the country, which provides deep views into space. Traveling up Highway 97, we reach Okanogan by mid-afternoon. A short trip around town, and this is the Okanogan County Courthouse. My campsite for the night is in town at Legion Park, located along the Okanogan River. I went into town for dinner, then back to the park for a shower and sleep. Earplugs were required. We're up and riding on day 4, the final day. A few miles north is the town of Omak, famous for the Omak Stampede Rodeo. From Omak, it's back on Highway 97, heading for Canada. Highway 97 had some construction. One area detoured through the town of Riverside. Back on Highway 97, I don't know if this cement truck actually saw me. Also along the highway, a deer darted across the road right in front of me. These were the only other bike riders I saw on my whole trip. They were from Canada, making a loop down into Washington State. In the town of Tonasket is a beautiful memorial. It's the U.S. Armed Forces Legacy Memorial with well-kept plaques and landscaping. I made a pit stop at the outpost in Tonasket, then continued northbound. In this area, it was single-lane traffic. They flagged me through and let me ride by myself. That was nice. Just north of Oroville, you get glimpses of Osoyoos Lake. Getting closer to the Canadian border, just south of the border, you can see the border crossing building, and you can look across the lake into Canada and the town of Osoyoos. Hi.
Hello.
O negative, huh? Me
Since
too.
I was born.
Me too.
Thank you. Where are you off to?
Just Osoyoos, how do you say it?
Yeah, that's pretty good. And even the locals complain about how to pronounce it properly.
Osoyoos. Okay.
How long you got before then?
Just we're
Up,
gonna
turn around,
We're gonna
back?
come back tomorrow. Yeah, my wife's coming to pick me up from a long ride.
Any self-defense with you, firearm at all?
Just Leatherman.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
No firearms.
So you're spending the night somewhere camping, or?
Well, I camped all the way up here, so we're gonna get it out. Get a real shower.
Yeah, yeah. All right, you're on your way.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Well, that was pretty painless. Pretty simple. I think I'm going the right way. Canada this way, so. At least we get to drive on the right side of the road, right? It was a spectacular journey. Total distance of 332 miles, 534 kilometers. Around 13,000 feet of climbing and just over 25 hours of saddle time.